In this week's episode of Make It with Calvin, we're talking about these guys, Joe the 3D printing professor's low poly dyno models from his ongoing, as of the time of filming, Kickstarter, and I'm going to talk about why I feel like you should consider pledging towards his Kickstarter and that whole thing. So let's talk about it. So as you guys may or may not know, I am personally not a huge fan of Kickstarter just because I feel like there are way too many people who come up with projects that are impossible to accomplish within the deadlines that they want. And there's too many people out there who think they understand that, because I donated money to somebody's project, it guarantees me the thing that I, donated for. And it's like, you know what? No. So that said, though, there are sometimes Kickstarter projects from people that I know that I feel like are worth mentioning, and this is one of them. Now, I met Joe, the 3D printing professor, over at Maker Faire, and I've got to say, this guy is just awesome. Not only is he really funny, crazy down to earth, crazy passionate about making, bringing people into the community, sharing his knowledge and enthusiasm. I mean, the guy literally just stole the Calvin and Jimmy show featuring him and Danielle at Maker Faire. I mean, it was an awesome addition having him in there. So when he came out with this Kickstarter, I'm like, I've got to do what I can. And I have already pledged towards his Kickstarter. But Joe is nice enough to give me the models from the previous videos that I've done and for this one as well, which I think is totally awesome of him. And I have to say the model quality of these is impressive. Now, the first model we have right here is, I think it's a Diplodorus, Diplo, I don't know. This guy was done on my MakerBot Thingomatic, and yes, around the chin area and a little bit on the back of the head. It's a little bit iffy. You gotta remember, the MakerBot Thingomatic, as Joe calls it, is a dinosaur of a 3D printer, and the guy is 100% correct saying that. The thing doesn't even have a functional cooling fan. I literally set one up off to the side in hopes that it would help the print, but sadly the fan was too far away and it didn't do much. That said, though, the whole point here is I'm trying to show that, had I gone back and done a little bit of, fine tuning with the temperature and things like that, I could have probably gotten the head to print better. But the point is, you don't need a really fancy machine to pull these models off, which is nice, which makes them a lot more beginner friendly as well, because I feel like there's so many awesome models out there, but they're really complex and they're not very easy to print if you're a beginner. And let's face it, there's just something awesome about a basic model like this. Like, you could totally print up a bunch of these, give them to kids at a party or something, and just have them go hog wild painting them or something. And they're fast to print as well because of that. Now, to show off the detail in his models, though, I took his Raptor model and I scaled the thing up to 325%, which is this guy right here, which is the maximum that my Ultimaker can do. And I've got to admit, this was well worth it. I mean, you've got the detail in the feathers here, the feathers here, the hands right here, of which, sorry if they didn't show up the best on camera, maybe translucent blue wasn't the smartest move. The feathers back here. I mean, the detail in this model that Joe did scales wonderfully from a tiny model to a huge model. I'm talking like A30, G-Max, CR10, sizes like that. If you guys want to see another one of Joe's models that was blown up really big, I'll have a card that pops out to Jimmy from Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits video where he took the T-Rex model and scaled the thing up to the maximum his G-Max would do, and that thing is darn awesome. Now, I will say before you watch the time lapse at the end of the video on these, this model did have supports on it. Joe said technically the models were designed to be printed without, but I'm having some issues with the cooling fan on my Ultimaker triggering a temperature failure issue. Still trying to resolve that, so I just figured I might as well put the supports in there just to play it safe. I was more trying to get the model done in terms of speed over print quality, so I could have this done in time for filming, but I still have to say, it turned out really cool. Now, another innovative thing that Joe did is he makes the model print like this instead of like this to reduce the amount of support material necessary. The model sits perfectly fine like this, or for whatever reason, if he's, chilling with his pals, playing cards or something, he can do that as well. Or you could always, get in there and plane cut him a little bit, fancy stuff like that, which I'm not going to get into. So I guess in conclusion on this, what I will say is, as with any Kickstarter, there's the disclaimer at the beginning, but having met Joe and seen his passion about what he does and seeing the true reason why he's even doing a Kickstarter as a fundraiser is pretty awesome. The guy literally films his stuff with technology that makes my GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black Edition on the custom camera rig seem like it's professional grade equipment. The guy literally was filming at Maker Faire with a little handheld microphone and a cell phone that kept wanting to not record, dump the footage to the wrong area. You know, the guy deserves better. I mean, and he's already just absolutely smashed his Kickstarter goal and still has time left on it. So if you do feel like, you know what, this does appeal to me and I do have a little bit of spare money to donate, definitely, you know, throw a few bucks Joe's way on his Kickstarter. I mean, the models that this guy is coming up with are just A+. I mean, the guy is so talented. He literally was doing modeling on a live stream before his birthday while still running the chat and talking about stuff. I mean, his passion for what he was doing when he was talking there and asking people, hey, do you have ideas for this or that? I mean, it was just, it's infectious, his desire to want to do things. So I'm going to have links below to his channel, to his Kickstarter. I'm going to have the card to the live stream birthday video and all the other ones mentioned. So here we go with the time lapses of the prints. Hope you guys enjoy this, and definitely go check out his Kickstarter while it's still running, and just go check out Joe in general. He's a really, really cool guy. See you guys here next time on Make It with Calvin.